The clear insight that the rights of nature is something that would really bring about the change, the systemic change that we need to evolve our legal systems to really meet the challenges that we're all facing globally today. And from that, I learned about the ECI, and I thought, well, it's obvious. We'll bring a European Citizens Initiative to get the rights of nature recognized in Europe.
If I can tease out one little thing there that strikes me as interesting, is when you say that when you mention all beings, in a sense that's what the rights of nature does, isn't it? Is that it expands your sense of the community that has standing and has rights and whose interests need to be considered and legitimately need to be considered. It expands that from humans and human structures to the entire Earth community.
Absolutely.
And so that changes you're not just changing the rules, you're changing the definition of who the courts should be serving and what the community is, what the dimensions of the community are.
Yes, absolutely. It brings it to, for me, a more real construction of law. After all, nature moves according to its own laws. And we are also part of nature. I mean, our bodies were made up of the 5 elements, just like everything else. And so nature's laws bind us. Our laws don't bind nature. Nature carries on irrespective of what human beings decide is the truth. So given that nature's laws bind us, one would see that if nature didn't exist and thrive, we wouldn't exist and thrive as well. So in that sense, everything that we call a human right derives from the rights of nature. If nature doesn't have a right to exist and thrive, how can we have a right to exist and thrive? Because our very existence is dependent upon nature. And so all it's doing really is just aligning, just expanding and evolving our laws to recognize that when we talk about community, we exist within a much wider community, and it's a community of all beings we share this planet with, and that's the plants, that's the mountains, the rivers. We are intrinsically interdependent, and it's just natural that if law is really going to meet the promise of the world that we would like to create for our children and our grandchildren, that it needs to expand its ambit and recognize all of the relationships that we have.